Well, thank you very much for staying with us. Time now for us to get into the news review, and I have here Samuel Kojo.
Yo, that's what it is. Yeah.
It is what
Welcome back, yeah?
Yeah. It's a brand new day.
Yeah.
That is. It's a beautiful brand new day. Now, what can do?
Men koyena and then so bega chere me say chalo voice in vantonjo. I mean maintaining my sanctity.
Voice in But good to see you, bro.
What?
Good to see you.
Oh yeah, sure. It is. I mean, last week, by now I was sitting in your chair.
Yeah.
Because you were away.
We're doing what are you here?
Oh,
big man.
And say, you're a big man here. And
I saw you with your vest new.
So
it's interesting, but this morning we're going to be getting into some crucial matters. Of course, I'm going to be talking about some of what the Veep has been talking about. I have three issues though, and I don't know whether to call it counsel, advice to the Veep's team or the Veep himself and all of that. But three core issues. I want to run them by you. I feel that we should state what is real and stay away from what becomes artificial or what could lead into trouble.
Okay.
It's like a lizard. Do you know what a lizard does? It poos white. And then right at the tail end, it adds a little black on top, if you've observed.
Really?
Not the black destroying everything, so to speak, in that sense. So three issues I want to run by you. You know, yesterday, the Vice President spoke about, hey, we have a robust system, digitalization. Digitalization, per what the Vice President says, has helped us so much. And I completely agree with him, from the DVLA to the ICOM system to the GRA, passport, taxation and all of that, the Ghana card. I agree wholly. But when you overshoot it, that's where it becomes a problem. So you remember the recent incident with that £270,000, Lamborghini that got, the owner plus the Lamborghini were carted away in the UK because apparently the person did not have insurance. So the Vice President comes to say that, hey, this happened because they don't even have, systems where they can check on the spot, supposedly, but here in Ghana, we have a system where, the police can accost you and then immediately check.
Yeah.
But I felt,
especially for your license,
that was below the belt. And I don't know who the people are who do research for the Vice President, because guess what? In the UK, insurance is compulsory. They have one of the biggest insurance companies, insurance packages in the world in terms of their relevance. In 2018, there were around 10 billion of premiums. 10 billion pounds in 2018. In the UK, now here's the important part. There's a motor insurance database. It is shared with all UK police forces, like the DVSA, so that their automatic number plate recognition, they have it, they have body cameras and all of that. These cameras can quickly and easily tell if the vehicle in front of them is insured, whether it is insured or not.
So you mean they didn't do due diligence with respect to that?
So, the UK police did that. But you see, they have a system that operates with the number plate. This Lamborghini did not have a front number plate. And so they have further actions that they can trigger. They can then call. There's a system where they can, in exception of that call. It means that in this instance, this individual was simply unable to prove that he had insurance. And so on the basis of that, they towed his car. But to use it as an example and say that, even in the UK, they could not, that is false, Mr. Vice President. And that is a point that has to be made.
Okay.
The next one has to do with, drone services. Let me tell you something. The blood and all of that, the drone services, highly relevant. I say kudos to government for that, because we know about the CHIPS compounds, we know about the things that have happened, and a lack of access to some medication in COVID-19. We see how it has helped. But then again, the comparison was made. We have the largest fleet in the world and all of that. Ask yourself simple questions. If you have the largest solar farm in the world, it may be that your country is landlocked, right? You don't have access to hydro power. Because you are landlocked and maybe you don't have internal water sources. So for you, it makes sense to have the largest solar farm. But maybe your neighboring country has all the water bodies and all of that, and they are tapping into it for hydro. Do you see? They may not necessarily go the way of solar. It doesn't mean you are doing so much better.
But he mentioned that in relation to the drones.
In relation to the drones. Again, I just felt that for the sake of relevance, you know, sometimes when we, so to speak, brag about our achievements, you must brag in context. Look at the UK, for example, and just let us look at our health system here. You have a lack of blood. Have you noticed that within the last 2 years, for example? Shortage of blood. We've had drives right here where people have had to come from the blood banks and all of that, asking us to donate.
Yesterday,
I have donated.
Yesterday, the Ministry of Information also did something like that because I saw it on their Facebook page.
Great. Yeah. You have poor ambulance response services. You lack health facilities in the country. Some of your health facilities are rotting away somewhere in the bush because of politics. You also have something that has become so predominant that it even has a name. No bed syndrome. You have all of these. What is your nurse to patient ratio? In some instances, a country like the UK has, which also uses drone services minutely, has fewer because the relevance, you get it. They have, what is their ambulance response time? What is the situation in their blood banks? What is the nurse to patient ratio and all of that? So these things must be set in context, even as we tout our achievements. And finally, Kojo, I'm beginning to get, I don't know what word to use. Those that are coming may be unsavory, so I'll save them. But what is this penchant with 6 years, almost 6 years on, still tagging the former administration with the economic woes we are facing today? What is leadership about? We admitted they were not doing certain things right, especially on the tangent of the economy. And we said, we want you to come and do better. That's why we brought you in.
Well,
6 years on, you're still blaming them.
I agree with you on that tangent because I also had my own misgiving about when he had to say, well, the first two are external, the second two are internal, but they were inherited. That I thought that it shouldn't have been made. But for
that's a fundamental part of our problem. The blame game and refuse because when you accept
that is very true.
You don't alone.
That is,
regardless of whatever it is. Blame me. Let me do it.
That is. I felt that he shouldn't have gone that way. If he hadn't added that they were inherited from the previous administration, it could have probably saved, him from some of these backlash. But he should also take responsibility because it's about your responses to the situation you came to meet. For example, the banking sector cleanup. We were told that what the banking sector needed was some 9 billion to ensure that we correct some of these inefficiencies.
And mind you, no one forced you into a banking sector cleanup.
Exactly. But no one forced, but the reality staring at them in the face was that
the reality, many people will tell you the realities were different. Look at how Nigeria has had a cleanup. How did they handle it?
I'm developing a plan.
And in this instance, others have said that we didn't need to go the way we went.
That is what I'm saying, that what you told us was that the banking sector needed some 9 billion to ensure that the inefficiencies were corrected. So you had a choice, and that's what a lot of people have argued, that you could have put in that 9 billion and rather take away the managers, the people whom you thought were the reasons why the banks were not performing better, and put people who you think could perform better to turn around, the sector. And then again, people were warning that the banking sector thrives on credibility and trust. So when you go out there, because I remember before this,
it's boom and bust.
Some people were warning that if we go out there and say that we need to collapse certain banks because of that, it will get people from holding on to their money and not taking it to the banks because they won't trust them. So we should have, gone the way of putting in 9 billion and getting new managers to run the sector and not really collapsing them with some 25 billion. That is how you responded to the problem. And
especially when, like you said, you're starting from 9 billion, it's ballooning to 11, 14, 17, 19, 21 plus.
And we should have collapsed them. My former boss used to tell me that challenges will come in life, but what matters most is your responses to those challenges.
Right.
So if today someone slaps me, what will be my response? Will my response be to slap the person back, or will say, okay, well, I wouldn't mind,
and
so that you can prevent a heavy fight. So the banking sector, yes, was in a deep mess because we all read the report and
Yes,
we saw
yes, we did.
what was there.
Yeah.
But the way we responded to it was our decision.
And it appears
was the current government
the same
decision.
way we've dealt with problems, where it appears even sometimes it is very political. It's about, look, there are some who have showed that if you look at a level playing field, and where some banks were, and where their banks were, in fact, their banks were in a better position. Why were those other banks not collapsed? Why were their banks collapsed? I've heard of different stories. UT, for example, UniCredit. Now,
Yes, I was going to cite it.
And you have an albatross,
Yeah.
round your neck. Look at what happened to Kwesi Indum's
Yeah.
entity, GN Bank, and all of that. You see, I was thinking that like the Americans did in the time of the global credit crunch, boom and bust. Sometimes we must protect what is ours.
Yeah. Yeah.
The local entities. I don't care about the other banks that were from other places, but how about our homegrown ones? What happens to them?
So that's why I was saying that the government should have decided that, look, you have mismanaged the bank. So we're going to help you stand, but we are going to take the bank, probably say from you for a while. Let's try to manage it, to sustain it. Then we can look at how you come into the picture again. But to collapse it really was their response, and they should take responsibility. That, look, yes, we came to meet a very bad banking sector, and we decided to go it this way, and that cost the nation this much. But to blame the previous administration wholly, I think that's where we all have challenge. I didn't like it when he went by that way. I thought that he had done so much because he had really painted the picture of the economy for us to understand where we are and why we had to go to the IMF. For example, if you hear that a whole Ghana, our gold reserve was how much? 8.7 kilograms. That's something that was shocking.
Yeah.
And going ahead to say that, well, the Bank of Ghana has brought up a program to say
so now
we will buy the gold. That
gives surplus will now be.
So you are giving us a solution to our problem.
Right.
So I loved it. But to come in to say the previous government, I felt no, that part shouldn't have coming. But again, on the drones, you have to maybe you have to allow them.
No. On the first two issues, I was just talking about being factual. Like with the Lamborghini, it wasn't fact. It was actually false.
But the drones.
On the drone bit, it is right. But even when you make certain comparisons, look at your context. Because in other words, what may be like in economics, what's the term? So what may be crucial to you
might not be crucial to someone.
They call it utility.
Yeah, exactly. But
you get it.
But
so maybe you love chocolate. I don't.
Yeah.
If I have a lot of chocolate, doesn't mean anything to me. I could equally give it to you and trade it off for something else. Maybe I love smoking, so I want cigarettes, and you have cigarettes and you don't smoke. Those are some of the things. But when you make certain comparisons, I just want us to go beyond the normal politics and the normal counting of things. I want to get people thinking about issues.
I'm sure what he wanted to do was to say that, well, our health sector is in a challenge. For example, how we can get medical supplies to the remotest part of the country was a challenge.
You have challenges that other jurisdictions don't have.
But what we have done is to develop this drone service to ensure that we curtail it. So maybe sometimes because of that, we have to give them a pat on the back.
But anyway, let's get into the papers. Let's do the Ghanaian Times newspaper.
Anyway, it says, 4 blows force Ghana to IMF. Veep explains country's decision to seek support from
body shots, uppercuts.
These are a combination of uppercut, body shots, and Kofi. Because he says,
but that one is in grade rule.
Maybe that's.
But
that's why we have gone back to the IMF because so it says COVID-19 really brought a lot of hell and on the globe really
the entire world.
Yes, and we are really experiencing the impact of it. Again, Ukraine-Russia war has also dealt a big blow to us. He says the banking sector cleanup, which we have discussed here, and then again the energy sector, the take or pay that they came to meet and they had to renegotiate. These also cost us a lot of money. So a combination of these.
So what, by the way, is happening to our power? Are we still paying for excess power that we are not consuming? I've never really been able to wrap my mind around that.
When they came in 2017, I remember what they did or what they reported to us as a country was that they renegotiated some of them to then move it from take or pay to take and pay and to extend the period. Okay, so if you're not going to do take or pay, we're going to do take and pay, but you have to extend the period. That's what they made us understand, that that's what they do. You remember the famous, is that Mary? The one they had to travel to.
Yeah.
So that's it. But like they said, there were some costs that they incurred in all of that. So let's see. But someone was telling me last week that it's so surprising that in our wars, the lights are still on. Maybe that's all we have to credit to them with, that in spite of all the challenges, the power is still stable.
Maybe we have to credit the fact that we have excess power in the first place.
Okay, exactly. We have excess power. All right then. Teacher union strike. Government organized labor agree 15% COLA. That's cost of living allowance. It comes with a picture of Thomas Musa, NAT General Secretary. Yesterday, after they had that meeting at the Ministry of Health,
right,
they came to the conclusion, both the parties from government side and then from labor, that look, you're asking for 20, we cannot give 20. I heard that government wanted to give 10.
Yes,
but
yes.
The labor union also said, no, we won't accept 10. And in negotiations, you have to move from your point.
You have to meet people halfway.
Exactly. So the government moved from 10 to 15.
And I salute the likes of Ignatius, is it Bafwe?
Bafwe, yes.
And others. Because you see, it would have been disastrous.
The education minister was part.
Yeah, the education minister, Yawase Educhu. And then the labor unions, Dr. Ban was there, TUC, among others. I salute them because, albeit late, we shouldn't have waited like the likes of Austin Game have said for it to come to this point. Yeah. But I salute government for at least settling this matter, allowing the dust to settle. Because where it was headed, honestly.
Because we're going to grind to a halt. Because look, if the public sector workers decide to say we have also gone on strike, then what are we doing? Who's going to be working?
Let's look at some other stories. And that's a major issue we're going to be looking at today in the course of the show.
Okay. So thanks to the labor unions and thanks to government for agreeing to come back to work. Now, PRT contractors to move to site in 2 weeks. That's according to Deputy Land Minister. And it comes with a picture of Benito Usubiu with some other staff there. President Veep, Mahama, others mourn in Debugri as he begins journey home. So those are the stories on the front page of the Ghanaian Times.
Let's do the daily graphic. Police deploy 3,000 personnel for NPP conference at 20 polling centers to speed up process. Then there's organized labor secures 15% COLA. Acquire professional certificate or forfeit appointment. Teaching council says so. Stabilizing the city. Building a resilient economy. Bank of Ghana granted first gold purchasing right. So those are some of the stories in there. There's also, let's promote ideals of Scout Guide movement. President Akufo-Addo reminds me of some of what Nkrumah started. And I guess, again, we all know what happened. Planting for food and jobs, when you go to the middle spread, rakes in 50 billion Ghana cedis and will optimize benefits from green transition. Lands Minister Samuel Abu has been talking about lithium and all of that. This country sometimes, and as I share with you my blunt thoughts today, in fact, I've titled it, Back in the IMF's Emergency Room. The politics, the hard truth, and the real expectations of the people. It beats me that we've been to the IMF 18 times as a country on the back of having gold, then black gold, which is oil, diamond, bauxite, manganese, timber, arable land.
Yesterday, the vice president...
Now, lithium.
The vice president said...
Salt.
The vice president said that anytime we've gone there, it has not corrected the fundamental thing, the structure.
Are the fundamentals still weak?
Well, so maybe that's what we need to work towards, to correct it. But you are so rich, but poor. That's the irony, and that's the case of Ghana. Now, the finder now, I offer the most comprehensive solutions. Yes, as a B. Tomorrow it will be serious. And I endorse my experience and hard work.
I've heard certain things about certain people wanting him to, step aside so a certain,
so
long running.
So Mr. Team can have it.
But a check like,
so okay, I want to be a prophet to say that at the end of the day, a Stephen will win the chairmanship of the MPP.
A Stephen, eh?
Yes, a Stephen.
So it's either Stephen Ayesu and Tim or Stephen Asamoah.
Anyway.
This matter.
All right. IMF bailout. Economy will emerge stronger with enhanced fiscal discipline. That's according to Dr. Baumia. But whether we can sustain that, time will only tell. Experience gain makes me best for national organizer. Nana B says so. That's from the front page of the Finder newspaper.
I am seeing gradually more and more realities of the credit situation, the crunch we're feeling as a country. You know, the Daily Graphic started by increasing its prices. Now you would see 4 CDs.
Yeah.
They started announcing that.
Yeah.
Guess what? The Daily Guide newspaper increases cover price. The story is on page 3. And it is also, adding up. Into the story, look, it can't be found. Okay. It's here. It's here. So it says from Monday, July 18, it will sell at 4 Ghana cedis as well. Ex-Capital Bank boss punches to SCN. You can check out details on page 6 of the paper. There's 54 billion Ghana cedi debt pushed Ghana to IMF, says Baumia. Again, like I said, when I share with you my blunt thoughts after sports, I'll be telling you about how this has been bobobaing. You know bobobaing? Not boboba. Since 2019.
Yeah.
And why we really can't use some of these things as an excuse. But in the middle spread, let's do some entertainment. Hajia for real, an influencer, not a musician. Kwesi P is rubbing it off. And Amber Heard, Aquaman. Amber Heard's motions against Johnny Depp. She was slapped with $10 million to pay. And she tried, doing
set
away
aside
with
that $10 million.
Another judge sat on the case and said, you say waiting.
For where? For where? For all that you've done.
So that's it with the Daily Guide news.
She should just quit it. Allow Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp. No. She's not.
Her
she doesn't have
reputation and her career are in the balance. They hang in the balance.
She brought it all upon herself. When you wanted to take on an innocent man, and the man thought of no, I have to redeem myself.
They both
for my children
had their issues.
Yes.
But I feel it's got to the point where, and I totally agree, especially in our part of the world, so a lot of men are doing things to women that shouldn't be done.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, when you victimize a man simply because you have the perception that, I'm a female, he's a male, there'll be sympathy towards me, and likely that it is highly unfair. And when it's proven, like in this instance, you will also, bear the pain.
And throughout the process, the recent case, it was established that he was rather trying to, get the guy to react.
Yeah.
But the guy didn't.
His lawyer was
And at the end of it, a lot of people came to believe that Johnny Depp was rather the victim of abuse in the relationship.
But it was clear from the rhetoric. So imagine that.
If the
victim being victimized even further.
If the guy had not gone to court, we wouldn't have known. And the whole world would have thought that Johnny Depp is a wife beater.
That's why the MPP, they usually say, go to court. Go to the custodian.
Anyway, government will bring back economy. Baumia assures Ghanaians it won't be prudent to sack Oforiatta. Government communicator says, don't increase transport fares. GPRTUG RTTC urges major shake-up at Forestry Commission. Our 7 MPP, Amayao Ekunfi, is a former
professor, right?
Yes. Former provincial chancellor for my school, the University of Cape Coast.
Solid guy. Solid guy.
Solid. When it comes to education, solid. Okay. Let me lead MPP for historic 3 terms. John Boyd to delegate, and Asabi outlined 7 plans for MPP. And let's promise our viewers that tomorrow, from the beginning to the end, JoyNews will be live at the Accra Sports Stadium to bring you.
What do you mean by tomorrow?
No, today. I was going to come there. Today is our special.
We're going to have
Evans
Mensah, Winston Amwa doing the do,
and then the other guy.
Right.
Oh, that guy. Minkasa. I haven't gone there.
We've not said anything.
That sharp guy. Together.
He's sharp. It's just that his head is like.
The 3 of them will be here to get you in the groove for tomorrow's coverage. But we'll bring you everything from the Accra Sports Stadium. But join us beginning today, this evening. Evans Mensah and his team will bring you some special pre-event or the night before the event show. and then we will be at the
They will be having a vigil.
Maybe, yeah, for all of us. Yeah.
All right, so we have less than a minute to go. Let me just read out the headlines from these two papers. Republic Press, I'll not read those that have already been hinted at, but Ken Ofori-Atta must take a personal decision to resign. Kwejun Pieni says that, and you know what clout he carries when it comes to economic talk. There's also
here
yes.
on the AM show.
Exactly. There's also all set for NPP big day, and Bawumia nails Mahama as he breaks silence on economic challenges. That's Republic Press. The Ghanaian publisher says Bawumia justifies IMF bailout, says we'll bounce back stronger. That's it for me.
Meridian, Ghana hit by a quadruple whammy. Bawumia, I'll give you a president if elected chairman in team to delegate. Nanado induct APRM governing council into office. Endorse my experience and hard work, John Boadu, to delegate. And Indum renews faith in God. Thanks, family and staff. Ghana's return to IMF people's views. Let us vote for party loyalist. Well, so that's it in Weekend Today.
Wait, though. John Boadu say waiting.
Endorse my experience.
Did I hear delegates? Is it the same delegates John had been talking?
Fair delegate, yes.
The same.
Oh, they say yeah. So
the 6,000 something.
Exactly, yes. So this evening.
So John Boadu, you know the fear.
I'm sure he fears, but he's only trying to work himself and his team up. Actually.
All right.
But he's asking them to endorse his experience and hard work. So yes, delegate, I fear you, but kindly, for all that I've done over the years, endorse it. Let me go on again.
I'll tell you one thing. I endorse his experience, wide experience in the media, broadcasting, hard work. Charlie.
But,
thanks for joining. And this is how we sew it up on the news review. Up next, we have sports. But don't you forget, right after sports, I'm serving you this. Blunt thoughts, and I've titled it, Back in the IMF's Emergency Room. The politics, the hard truth, and the real expectations of the people. You don't want to miss that. Stay tuned for sports up next.